Hey, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to another speed build. So today I'm actually doing an apartment build, and this is for my save file, as a lot of my recent builds have kind of been for my save file. But this one I do have uploaded to the gallery. I have the shell uploaded, and it has no custom content at all in the shell, but the actual finished product does end up having custom content in it. I could technically remove some of it because most of the custom content that I use is just decoration, but you'll kind of see it once we actually get into the interior of the build. I am going to go ahead and say I will not be speaking for the entirety of this video, just for a little bit, because talking for like 40 minutes straight is not my forte personally. So I won't talk throughout the entire thing, but I did want to just give a little bit of info about the build. So firstly, this is based off of some real life apartments that are in the area that I used to live in. So I did use them kind of as a reference photo. So that's where I actually got the idea to build these apartments in the first place. So I did want these apartments to kind of have a more rundown feel. So you'll notice in certain parts of the interior that they do look a bit more like dingy, and that's kind of the goal. Like, I wanted it to look a bit dingy, so it does look like that once we get inside. Like, I know we're just working on the exterior right now, and I will probably put timestamps so that you can see the inside if you would like to quicker. I am not sure how long I actually spent on the exterior once it was sped up, but overall this entire build took me 4 hours. So if that gives you any idea, yeah, I don't even know. I couldn't even begin to imagine how long the exterior actually took me. I believe when I was putting all the clips together, I think it was at least an hour and a half. Of course, since this is sped up, you're not going to see the entire hour and a half, and actually a portion of that hour and a half was me trying to figure out why the debug menu wasn't popping up for me. I tried multiple different times. I restarted my game like 3 times, and the debug menu would not show up for me. I don't know why or what was happening. I tried both of the cheats. I had testing cheats enabled. I did everything I was supposed to do. I removed my outdated basemental drugs mod and updated it, and I even waited to put it back in until I was done building this apartment. So I don't know what was happening, but I was really sad because I wanted to use a few items from the debug menu. I had quite a few items that I wanted to use, like I had them in mind, and then I could not even use them for the build, so I was kind of upset about that. But it's okay. I think it still turned out just fine, and like nice for what I was going for. I wouldn't say this is nice in the sense of what I would desire to like, I don't know. I just think that it's nice for what I was going for. So I think it's okay that I didn't have the debug menu for it. I think that it went fine without it. But anyway, I will tell you a bit about the residents that stay in each of these apartments. So on the bottom floor, all of the bottom floor apartments are 2-bedroom, and then the top floor apartments are 1-bedroom. So just to give you an idea, I will go ahead and say that. So the very first apartment that I will work on like a little bit later on in the video is actually going to be a single mom, and she has 2 kids. So she has an an 8-year-old, maybe 8 to 10-year-old child, and I ended up making him a boy, but I think that his bedroom is gender neutral enough that you could make it a boy's room or a girl's room. I really don't think it matters ultimately. You'll kind of understand once we get to the inside. This is actually their apartment right there that I just placed the bike outside of. But so the mom was a teen mom. So she ended up having her kid when she was like 16, and she also has an infant. So she's trying to learn to navigate life with an infant and a, 8 to 10-year-old. So that is who lives in the first apartment that I end up working on. You'll definitely be able to tell which apartment is theirs. Oh yeah, I did want to say, I thought that this community, like, laundry area was a good idea. I don't know why I ended up putting 8 washers and dryers when there's only 6 apartments, but maybe someone had an extra big load that day and they just needed to use a few more washers and dryers. So I don't know, don't harp on it too much, and I won't harp on it too much, but I did just want to point that out. Like, I know it's a design flaw. I don't want anyone to say anything about it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say it now. I don't know. I think that actually it is pretty typical to have more washers and dryers than there are tenants, like in apartments. So I don't think it's that out of the norm, or it depends on how big the apartments are as well. So sometimes they have a lot less, like washers and dryers than they do tenants. But anyway, so I've already told you about the first apartment. Now, for the second apartment, there's a single guy and he's just moved into the apartments. He's kind of crafty, so he was more worried about or like focused on getting his craft stuff into his apartment rather than actually furnishing his house properly, you know? So when we get to him, you'll definitely see what I mean by that, but I just thought it was really funny and a good idea to have a guy like that in this apartment. Mostly because I think that's so real. Like, I feel like that is not uncommon at all for a guy to be like, oh well, I'll worry about furnishing my living room later. I just want to have all of my hobby stuff. I want to have my bedroom. And actually, I primarily did that because once we actually get to the outlines of the rooms and everything in the actual proper shell of the inside, you'll understand why I didn't make it a 2-person apartment because, as you'll notice, the middle apartment has only windows on the front and back. Well, I haven't added the back windows yet, but I do end up adding back windows. But legally in the United States, anyway, to qualify as a bedroom, it is supposed to have a window in it, at least when it comes to a house. I don't know if apartments are the same way. I've never looked at laws for apartment buildings and what qualifies that as a room. But I do know that in a house, you are supposed to have a window in each bedroom because basically it's a fire hazard if you don't like think of it that way. So I did not end up making that someone's bedroom. So if he has a fire break out in his apartment while he's crafting, I'm so sorry, but he's not going to be able to jump out of a window. He better run out the front door or run out the back door. Because he will be out of luck if he's stuck in that room. So you can kind of see I was playing around with the way I wanted the layout to be for the bottom floor. I already knew what I wanted the top floor to be like because those top floor apartments are what the real life apartments look like. So I was like, yeah, this will be easy. I can just look at the floor plan or look at pictures of the apartments and I can just copy the floor plan for the top floor apartments because they're just 1 bedroom. But the bottom floor ones, I have never seen the 2 bedroom version of those apartments and there I couldn't find any images online. So I was like, okay, well, we're just gonna have to wing it. I'm gonna have to guess what they look like. So I kind of tried to guess, and I definitely struggled with this apartment here because I, I was trying to eat and talk to my husband while I was building it. So I didn't realize until later that I needed to flip that bedroom around so that I could put a window in it because, like I said, bedrooms must have windows in them, and since a child was going to be living in this apartment, I was like, it is very, very important that I put a window in his bedroom. So I did go back and fix that later on. I had to kind of go back and forth with it, and I do spend a a pretty embarrassing amount of time doing it, but it's okay. We move on. So for the person or people, I guess, in the third apartment on the bottom floor, it's actually going to be an elderly lady and her young adult son. I'd say he's about 25, 26 maybe, and his mom is in her 60s. So they live in the apartment on the other end, opposite of the one I'm currently working on. So you'll definitely be able to tell that an elderly lady lives there once you see the way I'm decorating it. But anyway, basically, the son is actually adopted by his mother. So he found out that his mom was having health issues, and he decided that he wanted to stay living with her for just a bit longer, just to make sure that she would be fine, even if not on her own. He just wants to make sure that she's fine, and he wants to live with her probably until she, passes. So he is going to end up living with her for a long while, but she's like, you don't need to worry about me, you need to worry about finding a wife. And I just think that's such a cute storyline. Like, the son just wants so badly for his mom to just be okay, and the mom is more focused on him finding a partner. It's just so funny. I don't know, it's a cute little storyline. So that is pretty much all you need to know about the third apartment down there. And then the upstairs, obviously I haven't gotten to the upstairs in the video yet, but the upstairs apartments, the first bedroom, or not bedroom, but the first apartment I'll work on upstairs is going to be for a single dad, but the dad does not live with his son, so that's why he's in a 1-bedroom apartment. He's actually a recently divorced dad, so he got divorced from his wife, and the wife ended up taking the house. So she took the house and their child. So he ended up having to move out with barely any money left to his name, and he moved into these apartments since they were pretty much the only thing that he could afford at the moment. He is a writer, and he's kind of a fairly new writer, so he's not making a lot of money just yet off of writing his books, but I think that eventually he could make a lot of money doing it. So that's basically his story. He's just, going through a hard divorce. It was very expensive, and he's running out of money. So this was his best option, basically. He had to move here just for his own sake. Now, for the apartment next door to his, it's actually a young adult girl, and she had to move into these apartments because her parents had actually kicked her out as soon as she turned 18. So she was on her own. She didn't have a lot of money to her name because she had just started a job working fast food, but she also loves knitting, so she tries to make money knitting and selling on Plopsy. So she does have multiple forms of income coming in, and luckily this apartment is actually in the neighborhood with the townhouses, so she ends up becoming friends with, I don't think I've actually posted this speed build yet, but there is a speed build for the second part of the townhouse, and a pink-haired girl lives in the townhouse, so she ends up becoming friends with the pink-haired girl that lives in the other townhouse. So I think it's a cool little storyline. Like, it sucks that she got kicked out, but I think it's really good that she's ending up finding friends in her new neighborhood and making the best of it. You'll see I went all out decorating her apartment because I love decorating girls' like rooms and apartments. So I had a lot of fun doing it, and you'll definitely be able to notice. So then for the last apartment on the second floor, it is just an elderly couple. They do have a daughter, but she does not live with them. They just live here together because their house recently burned down, so they had to find somewhere to go really quickly. They didn't have a lot of savings left over. They have only just recently retired. The mom was a teacher, and the dad, I actually don't know. I haven't come up with his backstory yet, so He doesn't have a backstory, but the mom was a teacher, so that's basically what she was doing, but she just retired, so they don't have a lot of money to go off of right now. So they had to move to these apartments because, I mean, it was short notice, and it's better than spending money staying in a hotel every single day. So this was just the best option for them. So that's basically everyone that lives in this apartment complex. And I wanted to add that little playground area also because, like I said, there is a kid that lives in these apartments, and I also thought it would be pretty cool for the adults to be able to play basketball because the crafty guy ended up playing basketball, and so did someone else in the apartments. I think the son that's taking care of his mom ended up playing basketball as well, and I thought that was really cool, like a really good idea, because maybe, I'm not sure, I haven't decided yet if this will be the storyline, but I'm considering making the man that lives with his mom talk to the single mom of the two kids. So I don't know if I'm actually going to do that or not yet, but I'll decide later on. Maybe I'll let you guys know. I don't really know, but I will definitely tell you when my save file is fully done so that you can see everybody's stories. And here we are in this apartment that I mentioned that I was struggling with. I don't know why it was taking me so long to figure out that I just needed to delete that wall right there, but I was really going through it, really having a hard time figuring out how to fix the room there, but I did end up getting it fixed. So you'll also see I do have a couple apartments that have the dingier floor, and I think it added a bit of realism in my opinion, just because I was like, not everyone always has the neatest apartment. Not everyone has the time in the day to constantly clean their apartment. So I was like, yeah, I think that adds a bit of realism to it. And this is also the kids' bedroom that I was mentioning before. It is very gender neutral, or I tried to make it gender neutral. If you think that anime, because I do end up putting anime posters and a manga on the dresser, if you think anime is like gendered somehow, then maybe you don't agree. But I think that this fit perfectly for this little boy, but I think it could fit perfectly for a little girl as well, and that's why I wanted it to be very neutral. Light blue, in my opinion, is kind of neutral. Like, I don't like, my one of my favorite colors is literally a shade of light blue, so I think it's not gendered personally. um, but I did want to make it very kid friendly. Like, I wanted it to look like this kid was thriving. This kid actually, is trying and does stuff, likes to read, likes to play, likes to craft, likes to go ride his bike. So I try to give a lot of options for what he might do in this apartment. But yeah, I don't know. Basically, basically that's that. Now, when the infant ages up, I'm not sure what the mom will do. So that's why I think that their storyline is interesting to me, because it gives you an element of decision making whenever I do post this save file, basically. So you'll be able to decide what you want to do with the mom, if you play with this family, and just, different things, because clearly she can't have two kids in that bedroom. It's way too small. So, you can just decide, as of right now, this single mom does not have a full-time job, but she has a part-time job. So if you wanted to give her a full-time job or put her through college, which I think for my own personal storyline, I think I might put her through college. I'm not sure. And the guy that lives next door to her actually was in college, but he ended up failing out. So that's another reason why he ended up living in this apartment complex, is because he failed out of college and he was like, you know what? Whatever, I'm gonna move in here and I'm gonna do my crafting here, make money doing crafts, and, just do whatever I want to do in my apartment. But anyway, yeah. So that's basically all that I really have to say about these apartments. Hope that you enjoyed hearing about everyone's storylines, and I hope that you enjoyed the rest of the video. There is quite a few, there's quite a lot of it left, actually, is what I was trying to say, but there's quite a lot to look at, as I have only just, started on the last apartment on the bottom floor. So I'll let you guys listen to some soothing music while you watch the rest of the speed build. I hope that you have a great day, night, evening, whatever it may be for you. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.